Hi everyone, it's Chenzo from Reality Art Pod here to talk about episode 1 through 3 of Million Dollar Secret. Before I dive in, I recap a ton of other reality shows, so if you like this video, consider liking and subscribing. My videos aren't meant to replace the original content, so I encourage you to watch the show on Netflix to enjoy and form your own opinion. But let's dive into it, starting with episode 1 titled Instant Millionaire. The show starts with guests arriving to the mansion, which is called the Stag, which seems really sexual, where Fancy Pants host Peter tells us they need to pick a room, which are all labeled with animal names. One of them will randomly become the game's first millionaire. The players introduce themselves. Sei Young is already feeling like she doesn't fit in because she's nerdy. All seems pleasant, and we find out the host name is Peter, but I'm just gonna call him Fancy Pants because I don't care. He tells them that one player will find $1 million in their room, and they'll get to keep it if they can keep it a secret. The other player's objective is to hunt down the millionaire. The millionaire will get to earn advantages that will help them in the game by completing tasks called agendas, but as they're completing their agendas, they can make themselves look suspicious to the others. There needs to be something like that on the traders. And we have our requisite cop in Sam, who is gonna keep her profession a secret because, of course. Also, unlike the traders, the players really do get rooms, which are nicer than anywhere I've ever slept. Kara wants to win the money because she flips burgers at In-N-Out. In their rooms, players each have a box to unlock, and Lauren from North Dakota learns she's the first millionaire. I highly doubt this was really chosen at random, but the hunt is on. Fancy Pants tells Lauren that her task is to hug all the other guests. If she can, she gets 2 extra votes at the next ceremony. I found this to be a bit of a lame reward. Is it even worth trying for when you could just be playing the game? Harry, who looks like someone who would have a crazy demise in a Final Destination movie, claims that his job as a nature photographer makes him the king of nonverbal communication. They get served food. Every time they get food on the show, it looks so freaking delicious. I would like what they're being served to be narrated by Fancy Pants. Harry tries to lead them in a prayer, but nobody wants to do the prayer because they think he's on a task, which is funny. Lauren clocks this and has 2 hours left to hug everyone. She still tries to accomplish this, starting with a one-on-one with Sei Young, who is playing hard and suggests to Lauren that they quickly target all of the men. She starts racking up her hugs. While she does this, Lydia is spreading around the house that Harry is suspicious. He's even sketching out the bartender. Undercover cop Sam is going full Danielle Reyes here, telling us she's going to turn on the waterworks on purpose to make everyone like her. Lauren walks in and scores some easy huggies. Sam is onto Lauren, feeling like she's laying on her personality too thick, and it's all too good to be true. Sydney tells them she works at a bar in Scottsdale, but when Sam asks her which bar she works at, she freezes up and is obviously lying about her job. Sam is onto her too. Lydia is loving that nobody is suspecting her, and they all see her as a sweet grandma. Sam is crying and lying, saying she lost her job during COVID, and proceeds to do exactly what she clocks Sydney for, hesitating when she lies about her career, and making herself seem more sketchy. Sam also notices that Lauren is hugging everyone, but Lauren does get all of her hugs in, earning the 2 extra votes. They get to their daily challenge, where FP tells them that the 6 guests who win the challenge will get access to the trophy room, where they'll have the opportunity to gain information on the identity of the millionaire. They split into pairs, with one player being the runner and one the codebreaker. After their split, Fancy tells them they're actually opponents in the challenge. The runner has to run through an obstacle course, unlocking 3 gates to get through it. While they do that, the codebreaker is trying to solve a lock by memorizing an 8-digit code to unleash a dog that will attack the codebreaker. This is savage, and I'd be a great codebreaker since I still remember Grand Theft Auto cheat codes from 20 years ago. The codebreaker role seems easy, and Lydia figures out that they can just split it in half, and everyone else gets to watch, which seems like poor planning, and ruins the whole challenge because the rest is just a montage of most other codebreakers doing what Lydia did, except Sam, who goes last and completely crumbles under the pressure. In the end, the winners are runners Sydney and Corey, and codebreakers Lydia, Lauren, Kara, and Sei Young. So Fancy Pants tells them they all have to vote someone out. Whoever gets the most votes will have to leave. In this moment, I realized that he sounds just like the gorilla narrator from George of the Jungle. Players head to the communal breakfast, where Lauren continues to spread Harry's name because he tried to get them all to touch hands a second time before the challenge. Sam excuses herself from breakfast, saying she needs a nap, a terrible decision which draws attention to herself. Hope it was a good nap. The challenge winners head to the trophy room, where all of the players' boxes are on display. Fancy tells them to each pick a player, then he'll tell them if the money is one of the 6 boxes they chose, cutting the suspect list in half either way. Lydia picks Harry, Corey picks Sam, who's shown napping, Sei Young picks Lauren, who's there in their group, Ako Tako. She gives logic that if they choose some people they trust, it helps to confirm the suspicious people are millionaires. Kara then picks Sei Young, using her own reasoning against her, starting a new trend where Lauren picks Corey and Sydney picks Philip. Fancy gives them a twist. Only one of them will get to see the answer to this, and they have to pick the player who does. They choose Lydia. The other players leave, and Lydia learns that the $1 million is in one of the boxes they chose. In this moment, it's revealed to us that Lydia is actually a professional poker player. Lydia quickly tells everyone the truth that they got it right, and the winners meet and not only decide to release the names of the suspects, but they tell Lauren to announce it. So Lauren announces the truth, but Philip is suspicious that Lydia could be the millionaire and lying to all of them. For now, they have no choice but to believe her, and will eventually learn she was telling the truth anyway. Sam still isn't there. Her nap was long as hell, but she wakes up in time for the elimination. Before the elimination, Sam tells Sei Young that she feels like Lauren is the millionaire, and they head to dinner, which is basically a traders roundtable where they're gonna have an open conversation. Lydia pleads the fifth, and Lauren gets things started, accusing Harry for the hand-holding incident. He defends that those are his Hawaiian traditions. Sam asks who's been spreading her name. Corey owns up to it, and the players ask her what happened to her in the challenge. She says she thinks her symbols were upside down, which makes no sense and makes people feel even more sus of her. Harry accuses Lauren, saying she's a mother of three and knows how to handle herself, basically that she's acting quiet and that makes her suspicious. Sei Young says the same thing, that Lauren is acting exactly how she would act if she were the millionaire, which brings us to episode 2 titled The Five Suspects, which starts with them voting on their place cards, with Lauren putting her 3 votes on Harry, contributing to his demise, as Fancy pulls his key and asks him to open his box, which is empty. He says, "Zippola, folks, you've all been played." We knew it wouldn't be Lauren, as the episode title totally spoiled that she wouldn't get caught, and we lose Harry here, who's an unfortunate first boot given his potential entertainment value. He seems zany and eccentric, but ultimately the best parts of him were the things that contributed to his demise. This was really great casting. He was the perfect person for a show like this or The Mole, and I'd love to see more people like this on Big Brother. Not only was he a character, but he had pretty good reads and knew Lauren was the millionaire. So we're down to 11 guests. As they said, 5 suspects. The players know the millionaire had extra votes, and Sam is dedicating herself to going hard against Lauren. Lauren is hating being the millionaire. She feels guilty for lying and is breaking down in confessional. Fancy meets with Lauren and tells her if she achieves her agenda task for the day, she can choose between 2 rewards, voiding 3 votes at elimination, or if she survives this vote, she can have the money randomly move from her box to somebody else's. She chooses to compete to no longer be the millionaire, and is tasked to use song titles in conversation before breakfast ends. The songs are Smooth Criminal, Every Rose Has Its Thorn, Don't Stop Believing, Cry Me a River, and You Need to Calm Down. This seemed very easy to me. At breakfast, as Lauren is sprinkling her song titles into things, Philip is spreading that Sei Young is the millionaire because she suggested the strategy in the trophy room. Fancy joins them to tell them that the millionaire has a new undisclosed mission. When he leaves, Sei Young suggests that they go around and share who they voted for. Nobody's down for that, especially Sydney, which makes them distrustful of each other. Lauren ends up completing her tasks, so she just has to survive this round to punch out as the Millie. They head to their mission where Fancy is dressed like a villain from Chicken Run. They'll split into 2 teams and take turns shooting launched clay pigeons. The first team to 3 will win, the way I would never get one, and shooting pew-pews is a crazy challenge. They schoolyard pick with Lydia and Chris as captains. The teams are Chris, Kyle, Sydney, Lauren, Jamie, and Sam, and Lydia, Sei Young, Corey, Phil, and Cara, with Sam, the sad last picked at dodgeball. Cara shares that this challenge is triggering to her because she lost her brother to this when she was 14, but she steps up and gets a point. I was impressed by anyone who hit one of these, with Philip, Lauren, and Cara scoring, and Jamie, who's been pretty invisible on the show so far, scoring an impressive 2 and winning the challenge for Team Chris. Back at the stag, Lauren starts fishing for someone to frame. She has to pick one of the other 5 suspects, settling on Sam and Sei Young as her 2 most likely picks. Sei Young continues to make herself look suspicious, looking all around for clues right in front of the other players under objects. Sam continues to push Lauren's name around the house, encouraging players to keep an eye on her throughout the day. Lauren, Chris, Kyle, Sydney, Jamie, and Sam head to the trophy room, where Fancy tells them to pick one player to get a clue to the millionaire's identity. They choose Chris, who they all feel is trustworthy. Chris tells Fancy that he thinks Lauren is the millionaire, and he gets a clue that says that the millionaire was working on the task at breakfast, and it was a smash hit. Chris returns to the group and relays the clue, including the smash hit line, but they're all off base with what it means. They decide to sit where they sat at breakfast to help figure it out, but Sei Young doesn't remember where she sat. They start calling Sei Young out. Why doesn't she remember this if she's so smart? Which makes her break down in tears instantly. Philip is especially activated by Sei Young to the point that he excuses himself, and this conversation has gone completely off the rails. They head to their elimination dinner where Kyle starts things off by calling Philip out for flipping out at lunch and storming out. Philip says he was frustrated at Sei Young's memory, as Sei Young defends herself that she just didn't remember. Lydia tries to give Sei Young the benefit of the doubt, but Philip and Corey go in on Sei Young for her strategy in the first trophy room, and Sei Young breaks down again and eventually composes herself to tell the group she thinks the millionaire is Lauren. Chris says he came in thinking it was Lauren, and Fancy reminds Chris of the smash hit clue. Jamie contributes that she remembers someone saying a song lyric at breakfast. Lydia remembers it too. Through this, Lauren is looking down, tearing up, and she pitifully suggests Sam's name, with the only evidence being odd behavior. They get to voting, and Mr. Pants reveals that Sei Young was voted the millionaire. She reveals that she wasn't and departs, so we lose Sei Young here, who felt she was too nerdy for the game and wouldn't get along with others, but that wasn't her downfall at all. She makes quick friends in the game, and people do trust her enough to go along with her plan in the trophy room, but her consistent suspicious behavior, like not remembering her seat at breakfast, looking for clues under the house decorations, made her such a big distraction. And while at first I thought she'd be really strategic because she said she was nerdy, if this were the traders, she'd be one of those who they vote out saying she's either a traitor or a bad faithful, so I guess she's just a bad player. player. Following Sei Young's departure, Fancy lets everyone know that the millionaire won the advantage, and in the morning, a new millionaire will be randomly selected. Which leads us to episode 3, titled Going to Hell on a Scholarship, picking back up the same night. As they eat dessert, Lauren comes out and reveals that she was the millionaire. She breaks down, saying she hated doing it. They all seem understanding that she was doing what she had to do, but Jamie is annoyed with the hysterics and says Lauren is ruining her dessert experience. Lauren is crying about how she wanted to be honest, but when Sydney asks Lauren more questions, Lauren gets sassy, like, I'm not telling you because I still want to win, which makes her the annoying hypocrite who ruined dessert. The next morning, we're told that the money is being randomly reassigned. I'm still not buying that it's random. Sydney calls out Lauren, basically calling Lauren sketchy. These two just don't get along, period. And they head back to their rooms, where I ask myself, which guy do the producers want to screw over? So the fickle hands of fate or production choose Philip, and Fancy tells Philip that if he can get 3 people to say no to the question, do you believe me, he'll get to cancel out 3 votes at the elimination. If he fails, he'll start the elimination with 1 vote against him. Again, if I were in his shoes, I would do nothing. Let everyone else look suspicious and just vote against me. The players head to lunch by the lake. The food alone really makes you want to be on the show. Lauren thinks Sydney is being suspicious because she's being quiet, and she and Sydney start sparring back and forth again, which Philip loves for himself. Cara thinks Philip is being uncharacteristically calm at this lunch, so she's onto him now. Philip decides not to try his mission, at least not yet, he says. And they head to the daily challenge, where they'll split into 2 teams: Chris, Cara, Sam, Lydia, and Jamie against Corey, Kyle, Lauren, Philip, and Sydney. Players are each assigned a creepy crawly. They need to carry their creatures to cages and solve puzzles to get them in the right cage. The team who gets the most fastest wins. I thought this would be an eating challenge, but the puzzles are really easy. The hardest thing is they each have to carry their creature like 5 feet. This was lame. And what do you know, they both got them all correct, but Corey, Kyle, Lauren, Philip, and Sydney had a faster time and earn access to the trophy room. They sit down to eat, where Lydia points out that Philip was skipping stones earlier at the lake, which could be suspicious, but Chris defends Philip, saying if you leave a bunch of guys alone, they're gonna skip rocks. Okay. Lauren announces that she's the only person who's 100% clear of being the millionaire, so she should be picked to get information. Sydney and Jamie are both still so bothered by Lauren, they take extreme offense to Lauren's high and mighty attitude. In the trophy room, they have to choose one player to get the information. They quickly agree on Corey representing them. Fancy tells Corey that the millionaire didn't attempt their mission today, and that the millionaire wasn't chased by a hound in the first challenge. Corey wasn't chased by a hound and knows being honest with the group will put him at risk. But Corey still tells the group the truth, narrowing the list of options down to Sydney, Sam, Cara, Lauren, Lydia, Philip, and Corey, and clearing Kyle, Jamie, and Chris. Something about this irked me, because they could have made this clue anything, and it seems like they got to pick certain people they wanted to be safe at any given time. Players get to strategizing. Lauren continues her anti-Sydney smear campaign. Elsewhere, Sydney is proposing that since they don't have enough information to find the millionaire, they just band together to vote for Lauren because she annoys them and has lied to them. Corey even calls Lauren useless. It comes down to being either Sydney or Lauren, and becomes a bit of an alliance game, with Chris, Corey, Jamie, and Sydney being seen as a unit who's targeting Lauren. When Cara tries to raise her Phil suspicions, the alliance shuts her down, making her feel unheard. So Cara, Sam, and Kyle are annoyed by the alliance, and they band together. Sam tries to bring Lauren and Phil in on their voting block. The players get gussied up for elimination, with Lydia saying Sydney is going to hell on a scholarship with how she's been acting, and oop, Lydia said the thing. At dinner, Chris starts things off saying that Lauren is useless, but Lauren pulls the receipts out of her boob. Her receipts are that Sydney has been breathing heavy, wanted to go to the trophy room. Jamie mocks Lauren and says she wishes she had receipts about Lauren in her bosom. Kyle, who seemed to be part of the counter resistance earlier, says he's also voting for Lauren, and Philip the millionaire says there's no point in trying to get the millionaire right now. How convenient. When Fancy goes to reveal the keys, there's a tie between Lauren and Sydney. They have to revote between Sydney and Lauren, and if there's a tie again, the millionaire's vote will break the tie. Philip voted for Lauren the first time and contemplates switching his vote. On the second vote, it was a tie again, with Philip's vote deciding that Lauren will be eliminated. So we say goodbye to Lauren, our first millionaire who was kind of a guinea pig for the role, which to an extent wasn't really fair to her, as she was trying to work around things while having no idea what the game even was. Whereas all of the millionaires after her at least know the types of things they have to deal with. With all that said, she made some pretty awful choices with the information she was given. She chose to hug everyone, a task that got her 2 extra votes in the first elimination. But if she just played it cool and didn't do the task, she would have been safe and unsuspicious. And the second time she did the task made her seem suspicious as well, but she did need to do that because she truly was just not cut out to be the millionaire. The worst of it all was how she handled not being the millionaire, choosing to fess up to the group when she didn't have to, and really getting on everyone's nerves to the point that they voted her out despite her being the only person who was confirmed not the millionaire, all because she was annoying. Honestly, I think I would have been annoyed with her too. They show the votes after every round, which I really appreciate, but this is the first time I really felt it was worth looking at. The players know there's a tie and the millionaire voted for Lauren. Jamie and Chris are cleared from the earlier clue, so if they know Philip voted for Lauren, it makes him one of 3 players, him, Sydney, and Corey, who could be the millie. But Sam, Kyle, Cara, and Lauren thought Phil was with them, not Lydia Lydia. Maybe he could lie about his vote, but that'll backfire. Overall, I think this vote was the first truly awful thing Philip did as the millionaire. After the elimination, Sam points out basically what I just said to the entire group and spells it out to the viewers at home in confessional. The players start admitting who they voted for, all being honest, but Philip is staying silent, which does lead the group to publicly whittle down the suspect list to Sydney, Corey, and Phil, who still stays silent and never says who he voted for, making them even more sus of him. And that's where the episode ends. I really enjoyed these episodes. I think Netflix really nailed it with this format, so far at least. It sucks to be the millionaire and is really hard. You have to make good choices, but I don't think we've seen a really good player be the millionaire yet. For a minute, I was wondering if the players had any incentive to get the millionaire out, as on the traders, I often feel like there's no reason to actually hunt the traders. But on this show, only the millionaire can win, so there really is motivation to find them because if you catch them, you get the chance to be the millionaire yourself. The one thing I would change is when the millionaire role is up for grabs, the players should compete for it, not have it be randomly assigned. Coming into the next batch of episodes, I wonder if Philip can pull it together and save his game. He could try to pin the next vote on Sydney and maybe get to a point where he can pass the million to somebody else if they do that every 2 rounds. Right now, I feel like Cara is playing the best game. Nobody's been suspicious of her, and I think she's in the right alliance, with Sydney's alliance seeming like they're due for a downfall. But that's all I have to say about this batch of episodes. This video was later than I normally would be because I was recommended this show by one of my subscribers. Shout out to No More Music. But moving forward, I'm gonna binge the episodes when they come out and make the video as soon as I finish them. So if you like this video, give it a like and subscribe so you don't miss the videos when they drop. I'll be back in a few days with more $1 Million Secret. I'm also recapping Survivor and the Challenge All Stars right now. You know where to find me. Bye.